Did you know that 92% of people never achieve their goals? Shocking, right? After years of what I call failing myself and feeling like the universe is against me, I finally got things turned around. I used to feel like the universe held up that quintessential carrot right in front of my face, and then right at the last second when I was just about to get that thing, the universe would snatch it away from me and laugh. I literally felt like this all the time. But one day, this all changed. Hi, my name is Jamie, and in this video, we're gonna dive deep into the surprising reasons for the statistic and how you can get out and become part of the successful 8%. After reading many books and watching countless YouTube videos on productivity and rewiring the brain, I compiled a simple 9-step system based on science and my own experience, so stay with me because this could be a game changer for you. You are not defined by your past. You are not destined to be one way or another based on your experience this far. You can always change your circumstances, always change your life, and just keep going. Just because you were not successful in the past does not in any way mean that you will not be successful in the future. You probably have a whole list of reasons why something can't happen, or a whole list of reasons of why you haven't been successful. So within that, you know way more about how to make something work than you realize. I want to talk about two concepts. One's called the winner effect, and the other is called learned helplessness. And I think what happens a lot of the time is people get stuck into one way or the other. So the idea behind the winner effect is when you succeed at something, you're more likely to succeed in the next thing that you try. And in contrast, if you feel like you failed at something, you're more likely to fail again in the next thing that you try. And if you have this experience repeatedly over and over again, then you can fall deeper and deeper into one or the other. So what we're trying to do is get out of the learned helplessness, the belief system that we can't succeed, there's this block, or I don't know how, or society is against me, I don't have money, I don't have friends, I don't have support, or I don't have the intelligence, or I don't have the right equipment. So we got to get out of this learned helplessness. That was the quintessential carrot. I was in a space where I just felt like it didn't matter what I do because I was in control of the universe. I wasn't in control of what I could get or what I couldn't get. And I gave up my internal power and my ability to shift my perspective or my creativity to find a new way. Or, very, very important, I would completely ignore my wins. I did quite a few things, but I was never good enough. So in a way, I was never good enough for myself. And I never really took into account all the things that I did do. So I never really felt like I did anything because I always felt like I should be doing more or I should have done more. So one of the things to get into that winner effect is to recognize your wins. You gotta put your life into a full perspective. We have to learn to not be so hard on ourselves because we all have different journeys. We learn different things on that journey at different times. We gotta get into this ideal concept of the winner effect and getting out of this learned helplessness, getting out of this feeling like a victim of the universe and getting into this spectrum of manifestation where we make things happen. We take action, we have an idea, we take action, and we execute. So this is where these 9 steps come in. This is how to execute and how to get up and actually start making a plan and how to actually accomplish your goals. A vision without a plan is just a pipe dream. So let's get into it. Step 1 is to make a commitment to yourself. Just make the commitment. Say, I am going to do this no matter what. I don't care how long it takes. I know I'm going to fail. I'll get back up and I'll keep going. I'm making a commitment to myself. This is it. No excuse. Let's go. So step 1 is just make the commitment. Step 2 is kind of like altering your ego, getting yourself in the mindset, in the mind frames. If you're trying to say, sit down and write a script or do a YouTube video, sometimes just reframing your mind by breathing, clearing the mind, do a meditation, breathe, stretch. It could just be a couple minutes just to reframe your mind, to get your mind conditioned to to start action, to get your mind conditioned to learn how to execute. Number 3 is to cut out all the distractions. Cut off your phone, cut off social media. You can even take social media off your phone. They have new apps now that will limit your social media, your ability to use social media. And also another thing, in the mornings, I've started to really be very aware of what I'm putting in my mind early in the morning. So I'm not always successful. I try to have the first hour in the morning within myself. This is where I get up, I take my shower, I meditate and breathe, stretch, do all these things, have my coffee. Before I start putting other people's ideas in my mind, before I'm on social media, I'll sit outside. I try to meditate and listen to the birds, feel the wind on my skin. Just try to practice awareness. Being aware, being in my body, because I feel like, we're got so much coming at us all the time that we're out of our bodies most of the time. So in the mornings, I really try to connect my mind and my body together before I start going off onto all these other things. And when I'm working, really cut the distractions so I can focus. Right now and on the planet, focus is our number one commodity, our ability to focus. So it's up to us to learn how to focus, what's going to work for us. So that's step 3. This is step 4. Write it down. Write it down. All of the people that I have been reading about that are successful, all of them wrote down their goals, their plans, their aspirations. The statistic is that 85% of the people who write down their dream actually succeed. It's like the first step into taking something abstract and putting it on paper that's something concrete. Write it down. Write it down. Step 5 is, what is your why? And this is really about what makes you cry. The thought of it makes you cry. Sometimes it's about your children. If you have kids, you want to make sure that they are taken care of in the future. Or maybe you want to take care of your parents, or you think of yourself in the future of being able to live your life and not regret it. When you really don't have motivation, or you really need to dig deep into taking action and executing stuff, sometimes you have to dig really deep and be like, no, I have to get up. I got to do this. I have to make this work. I have to make this happen. And that commitment comes in, and then your why comes in for that dream that you've written down. When you're feeling weak, this is a way for you to really tap into your why, your reasons, get going. Sometimes you have to have willpower. Sometimes you have to just kick yourself in the butt. You have to decide on what's so important to you that you're going to do those sit-ups. I need to do sit-ups. Step 5 is just, what is your why? What's going to push you through in those moments where you're just like, I don't want to do nothing. So, what is your why? What makes you cry at the thoughts if you didn't accomplish this, and what that would mean? What would be the consequences? Step 6 is actually creating the action plan. This is where we create the plan. So you've got your dream, you've got your why, you've written it down, and it's just a very big, huge sense. So now we got to make the plan, right? Because a vision without a plan is just a pipe dream. And we want to take actionable steps to make shit happen. So this is how we do it. You can do your lifetime goal, a 10-year goal, 5, 3, 1-year goal, which translates into 12 weeks, which brings me to this book. I love this book. It's amazing. It really helps you to take your dream and put it in actual steps to make shit fucking happen this time, right? Let's do it. But anyhow, you write down your lifetime goal, write down your 10-year goal, your 5-year goal, and your 1-year goal. Then we're going to write it down into 12 weeks. What do you want to accomplish in 12 weeks? Like for me on this channel, I want to gain 1,000 subscribers in 12 weeks. Then you break it down into each week. So each week, these are the actionable steps that I need to take to get the 1,000 subscribers and make the videos. This is what I need to do. And then you break that each week down into a day. And I did make a PDF if you want to download it. I made a simple PDF for myself that I'm writing things down, because you got to write it down. Write it down. You have to write it down. So that's step 6, is to write your action plan down for execution, because the plan is to execute. So once we've created this actionable plan for the 12 weeks down into each week, into each day, step 7 is to rate yourself. And the idea in this book is that once you write down your weekly and daily goals, then at the end of the week, choose whatever day that you want to choose. You grade yourself, you critique yourself. And he says that 85%, if you accomplish 85% of your goals within that week, then you did excellent. But if you didn't, and you have to be, super honest with yourself and don't judge yourself too harshly, but that's okay. Because, maybe you're trying to execute too much and maybe you're trying to put too much on your plate. So the thing is that you got to stick to your plan, stick to the plan. Your actionable steps might need a little bit of tweaking. That's it. So I'll put a link to the scorecard or a scorecard that you can use to try to score yourself. Ultimately, each week, score yourself, and if you did 85% of what you said you were going to do, that's excellent. That is success. There's never 100% of the time. And if you did 100%, then maybe you need to challenge yourself a little bit more and put more on your plate. And in contrast, if you only did 65%, maybe you need to modify it, kind of figure out where your pitfalls were. Maybe you overate one day and you got so bloated that you got really tired and exhausted. Maybe you're eating crappy food, So maybe eating good food, you add that to your action plan for the day or for the week. You just modify it, but you stick to your plan. Because the thing is that with all of these different failures that we have, we know how to do things. We know what we need to do a lot of the times. We just don't do them. So maybe you end up watching another video, reading another book, or go to another seminar. You don't need any more seminars. You don't need any more books. You don't need any more videos. A lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of times we already know. Do not give up. It's raining outside and somebody has some kind of metal thing out there. So do not give up. Just pivot and keep trying again and again and again. Number 8 is to make a commitment to execution. Self-sabotage is a concept that took me a really long time to understand because I always felt like, I'm trying something new. I realize now that self-sabotage comes in a lot of different guises, right? Self-sabotage can be perfectionism, procrastination. Perfectionism is one spectrum of self-sabotage to where you're trying to be so perfect, write it down or figure it out, but you're not actually doing the actionable step that it will take to get you further along, right? Or you put yourself down like, I wasn't good enough. I could have been better. I should have done more. So we got to get out of that 100% perfection and get into 85% excellence. Procrastination. A lot of times procrastination is just over-analyzing or not believing in yourself. Sometimes you just got to get up and do that thing. Walk through that fear, walk through that fire. Just get up and do that thing, whatever it is. Sometimes if you've been procrastinating something for so long, it's like, oh my gosh, I just got to do it right now. Like, let's just do it. If you have this thing that you're afraid of, you just got to get up and do it. And maybe you feel like you're not ready or you aren't good enough for it. Sometimes it takes getting up and just doing it, getting up and doing it, and then doing it again. That's when you get good. You don't theorize about something and then be awesome and perfect. No. I don't know if you've heard this before, but there was a photography teacher who gave half his students one assignment and then the other half of students another assignment. The first students were given an assignment to create the perfect photograph, just one perfect photograph. And then the other students were told to create 100 different photographs. And from that, pick the best one. So what happened was that these students over here trying to create the perfect photo never really quite got the photo to be that good. The ones that had the 100 photos, they kept taking a photo, learning from it, taking another photo, learning from it, taking a photo and learning from it. So by the time they got up to the 100th one, which might not have been the perfect one, but by the time they got up there, they had all this experience and learned all these different lessons to where they created something amazing. So that's the same thing with all of us. We got to just do work, pivot, modify, keep going, get back up, learn, keep going, repeat, go, make it work. It's so raining outside. Sometimes you just got to do it. Just do it. Just go. And number 9 is the 80-20 rule. And basically this stipulates that a lot of us will spend 80% of our time on things that don't matter that much, spending 80% of the time on 20% of the work. But what a lot of times people do is they spend 80% doing things that are menial. If you want to work out, going to the store and buying yourself an outfit is not actually working out. You actually have to just work out. So you gotta spend that 80% of your time doing the most important 20% of things. So just as a big recap, step 1 is to make a commitment to yourself. Just no matter what, you decide you're gonna do it. Step 2 is to make some keystone habits in the morning, for instance, or in the afternoon, or whenever. But to make keystone habits of taking a breath, taking a moment to reset your mind, reset your brain, reset your nervous system, breathing, exercising, stretching, doing a meditation, anything that it takes to reset your brain, maybe even come up with an alter ego. Step 3 is to cut out all the distractions. You know what that means. Step 4 is to write down your dream, expand it by 10 times. You have a dream, make it bigger, and then make it bigger and bigger. Like, come up with this astronomical dream, like beyond your limits. Go for it, just do it. Make it big, make it huge. Let's do this. 5, what is your why? Deep dive into your why, because that's what's going to drive you when you are down on your face. Your why is what's going to drive you, and only you can come up with that why. So you got to dig deep. 6 is to actually do the actionable steps, put in your lifetime 5, 10, 3, 1 year goal, take it into 12 weeks, take those 12 weeks into each week, and then each day. And you're making those actionable steps because this is how we're going to do it. You're actually going to do it this time, because when you put it into each week, each day, you don't have to think about what's going to happen for the whole year. You don't have to think about it. You just right here. That's it. You can only see right here, and in 12 weeks, you're going to be unrecognizable. And then 7 is to rate yourself. And you got to be honest, because you don't want to be too hard on yourself, but be honest. And if you're 85% or more, you're doing excellent, keep going, it's working. If not, then pivot, keep going, keep trying, get up, do it again. If you feel like you failed, it's okay. Don't get too hard on yourself. 85% of the people on the planet don't succeed. You can do this. You can do this. Don't give up. 8, make it a commitment to execute. Execution is the key. We have to execute, right? And 9 is the 80-20 rule. You got to execute your plan, but you got to do the 20% that you don't want to do. You got to do those actionable steps. They're the most important steps. That 20% of what you don't want to do is going to be 80% of your success. When you're stuck in those menial tasks or things that you know deep down that aren't really pulling you forward, it's not moving the needle, you know when it's not moving the needle. You got to do what's going to move the needle. Spend your time doing that, and boom. You're gonna rock it. Let's do this, guys. I'm in the same situation. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I really want to, have 1,000 subscribers in the next 12 weeks myself. So I'm using this system, and I've also linked down a PDF file if you want to use that. It's free. So let's do this, guys. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.